Welcome to r/Tales from the Customer, where the tables have turned and customers share crazy stories about retail workers. If you are new to my channel, please feel free to subscribe to join our awesome community. And now, without wasting any more time, let's dive right into the stories. You don't get to decide who is and is not allergic to something, period. My boyfriend and I were out for an anniversary lunch. We went to a slightly fancy place because it's a celebration, but somewhere we had been before, so we knew it and most importantly, trusted them. This is because my boyfriend has celiac disease. He was diagnosed years ago before going gluten-free as a fad began. This means zero bread, zero pasta, zero pastry, simple enough to understand, right? Apparently not. So we went to this place before because they claimed to have contamination-free areas for preparing cheese for those who requested it. They also had specific free products, including gluten-free bread and pasta. They were as good as their word. My boyfriend had a great meal and did not have any pains or repercussions afterwards, something uncommon for us. It was a no-brainer to go here again and checked online to make sure that there were not any bad reviews or red flags about dining with allergies. However, not a crossword. This time was different. We got there in good time, were sat down and ordered drinks and decided on what we wanted. The menu, as it had done before, clearly stated the gluten-free options available. We had seen online that someone had ordered a gluten-free filled pasta, which is something my boyfriend loves. Our initial waitress was as helpful as anything when we asked about it, saying that they did indeed have a filled pasta but served it in a slightly different sauce as the kitchen could not promise that the original sauce was safe from cross-contamination. My boyfriend was happy enough with that and ordered it as his entree. He had a plain salad as his appetizer, which we were also told was gluten-free. Appetizers come and are eaten, we drink wine and shamelessly flirt because why not, and wait for our entree. They both come out promptly, but it's clear that the sauce served with my boyfriend's pasta is the normal sauce and not the sauce that the waitress said would come with it. We queried it and the waitress said that it must have been a mix-up with a normal meal placed at the same time, that she had not clocked in time. She came back a few minutes later saying that the kitchen had already sent out the gluten-free meal but were making a new dish already and it would be out as soon as possible. She also comped our appetizers and said she would see if she could sweet talk the shift manager and get us a free dessert since it was our anniversary, since we would be in there for a little bit longer. I can only say what I saw, which was the waitress going over to a middle-aged woman standing by the bar, talking for a minute and pointing over in our direction. The next thing we know, the woman has sped over to our table and is asking what kind of scam we are pulling. We said nothing since we were confused about why she was being so confrontational, and she started going on about how the pasta was definitely gluten-free and we had no reason to send it back. My boyfriend started to explain that it was the sauce that was the issue, since we were only going on what we were told and apparently it was not safe for celiacs. By the way, please correct me if I pronounce that incorrectly. The manager then started snarling about how she was so fed up with the craze and that kids like us, we are in our early 20s, so we were probably just arrogant millennials to her, are so sensitive that we need all these labels. The waitress brought over the new dish of pasta at that point, but the manager snatched it from her and started taking it back to the kitchen, saying that the precious table could not eat anything unless the chef told her that it was all safe to eat. I really wish we had left then, but the waitress looked so nervous that I felt like we had to stay just so we could tip her well when we finally left. The manager and the food came back a couple of minutes later. She kept a tight hold on the dish, asking sarcastically if we felt safe yet, or does she need to drag the head chef away from his job to please us. My boyfriend said that everything was fine and even thanked her for her level of care. He's the calm and collected one. I was ready to flip and started eating as quickly as possible, if only to get out of there. I was halfway done with mine anyway, so we just sat and ate until we were both done. I was seething that our anniversary had been ruined so soon by the manager's attitude. But the worst was still to come. We flag down the waitress as soon as we are done and say we want the bill. She says she understands completely and apologizes for everything. She's gone for a little while and comes back as white as a sheet. She says she went into the kitchen to check on another order and saw a pasta dish that looked exactly like the dish my boyfriend had sitting alone on a side. She asked if it was meant to be going out and she's told that it's the one that the manager brought back in about 15 minutes ago. The waitress says the manager brought it back out to the customer, but she's told that the manager cornered the chef who was doing the pasta style dishes and told him to drain some normal pasta and serve it with the gluten-free sauce for a particularly demanding customer who did not need the gluten-free pasta. Guess who just ate a whole dish of gluten? My celiac boyfriend. The waitress had comped more or less everything but the wine. I insisted that we paid for all of my dishes and then gave her a pretty big tip on top. We did not know what the deal with comped meals was, but she did not deserve to lose out on a table because of that stupid manager. To cut out the gruesome bit somewhat, my anniversary afternoon and evening has been and will be spent with my boyfriend shut in the bathroom as things come out of both ends. His stomach has bloated so much that he looks several months pregnant. He will be having repercussions from this for weeks and maybe even months. I'm so annoyed that I did not dare to write a review about it, since I will end up threatening the manager on a very aggressive personal level. I want to call anyone and everyone from my mom to the local news about this. I keep on bearing in mind that if I go nuclear, and I can, then people like the poor waitress who served us will be out of a job. Until I get my head straight, this is the only place I can rent, so thanks and well done if you got this far. Actually, we already had a couple of these stories where people deny that allergies exist, which is completely ridiculous, but this arrogant manager probably takes the cake if you ask me. What would you have done in that situation if you were the boyfriend or his girlfriend? Honestly, that manager deserves hell. Innocently caught the car dealership taking advantage of me, crushing 10 years of a trusted relationship. I have been leasing my car for business purposes since 2007. Been with the same dealership since the beginning. I've always taken the vehicles to the dealer for service as I wanted the records to show it, hopefully ensuring I'm getting the best value I can when I turn in for new. The service department was always exemplary in the way they treated me and got the work done. Until now, that is. I brought the vehicle in for a 15,000-mile oil change + checkup. While I was waiting, the service writer came to me and told me they thought I should get a wheel alignment and tire rotation. I have 10+ years of what was a trusted relationship, so I told them to go ahead. I tend to put mileage on quickly. Did not think anything of it. When the car was ready, it struck me to check something before I left. Backstory: this past summer, one day when picking up one of my granddaughters from school, I grazed the curb when I parked, causing a relatively painful looking scratch on the right front wheel. Well, when I went to pick up my car, I went to look at the wheel. And there it was, same dig on the same wheel. I called over the service writer. Hey, when they do a tire rotation, they are supposed to change the location of the wheels, aren't they? He said yes. I told him what I was looking at. His face went white. He called over the manager of the service advisors. There was a lot of scurrying about. They were going to take the car. Where are you going? I asked. They were going to take it back for tire rotation. I told them I did not want to wait any longer, just give me my money back on it. They did that, offered me some free oil changes, which I already have included with my lease, told them no thanks. I spoke with the GM of the dealership. Everybody is oh so apologetic. I filed a complaint with their moto division asking for someone to get back with me. The wind up, the only person that called me was the service advisor. If you get an email survey, I would appreciate it if you would be so kind. I think you realize I did not do it, and if the survey comes back bad, it all falls on me. Sorry pal, well it's now over 3 weeks later, no one else has reached out to me. I am amazed. 10+ years of getting my cars and service from them, and they apparently are okay with letting it all go away for a lousy $28 tire rotation. I don't really want anything other than someone in upper management / ownership reaching out to show me some kind of indication that they give a damn. Guess I'm stuck in the past in the way things used to be done. Okay guys, actually I have a couple of questions here that really interest me. When you go to a mechanic in your country, whether it is for a car or a motorcycle, how much do you usually have to pay for something like an oil change? Moreover, have you ever been scammed at the dealership and noticed it? I'm very interested in hearing your stories, and if you have a good one, please also feel free to share it on r/ripestories. By the way, on a little side note, if you ever go to Thailand, one of the best things here is that mechanics are quite reliable for the most part and extremely cheap. I just recently had service done on my motorcycle from an official dealership, and I think in total it cost me around $15 to $20. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the Tales from the Customer stories. The next stories are gonna be from r/Tales from Retail. When "Do you know who I am?" goes terribly wrong. A few years ago, I was working at a used video game store. I was behind the counter doing morning inventory when a teenager came in. TC, teenage customer, me for me. Teenage customer:
"Hey, I pre-ordered a copy of
insert name of game here.
last week. Is it in yet?"
Me: "Let me check for you. Do you have an ID?" Check his ID and he's only 16. The game he pre-ordered was rated M, so I could not sell it to him. Me: "Sorry buddy, looks like this game is rated M. I cannot sell it to you, because you are under the age of 18. Is one of your parents in the car?" TC:
"No, I paid for the game. I want it."
Me: "Believe me, I want nothing more to give it to you. You are right. You are paid on it. Company policy restricts me from selling it to you though." TC:
"Do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is?"
Me: "Buddy, I'm on your side. I want to sell the game to you, but my hands are tied. Just come in with your parents or a big brother or even an older friend. I can give it to you then." TC:
"Enjoy the unemployment line."
He exits and I think nothing more about it. This happens once a week. The next day, my boss calls me and asks to meet me at the coffee shop next door before my shift. He commonly does this to go over monthly numbers. Manager: "Thanks for meeting me." Me: "Sure thing." Manager: "Yesterday, did you have a kid come in asking to purchase a game that he pre-ordered?" Me: "Sure did. He was underage, so I did not sell it to him." Then I go over the conversation with my boss. Manager: "I know you followed policy, but that kid's father is a well-respected businessman in the area. The boy's father called my boss's boss, which in turn called me. I'm sorry, I have to let you go." Me: "Are you serious? For following company policy?" Manager: "Yeah, it sucks, but the father is influential in town and he suggested we let you go, and here I am. But you get 2 weeks severance. Don't worry about your shift today, I'm covering for you. I need your keys and your badge." And just like that, I was unemployed. All because I followed corporate policy. To be honest, that was probably the first time where
"Do you know who I am?"
was actually a legitimate question. But either way, I'm curious if the employee can actually take any legal action in that case, because he was just following the corporate policy. He did nothing wrong. Maybe you have an idea. I made a grown man cry today. So I work at a pet store, my family owns it. We do boarding, daycare, training, grooming and retail. I had a regular come in a few months back. He was not doing too well financially since becoming disabled. He brought in his dog for grooming and I noticed he had large amount of fleas. I called and informed him. I let him know that I would give his other dog a flea bath for cheap so he could take care of it. Once he got there, he tried to pay with a care credit card that the state had given him. Unfortunately, we don't take that card. So he gave me his card information so I could charge him when he got paid. I sent him with some flea and tick topical we sell over the counter. Well, the day came for me to run his card. He called me to remind me. I thanked him, got off the phone and did not charge him. Today he called realizing he hadn't been charged. I told him I did not plan on charging him and was happy to be able to help. He could not talk for a bit, trying to compose himself. I got off the phone knowing I had made someone's day better. I know how hard it can be living on disability. My mom is on it. Sometimes even the littlest of things can help. I can definitely understand why the man is crying. because many times in modern societies little things like that are not so common anymore. It seems that a lot of people are only focused on themselves and don't really care about others around them unless they are family or close friends. Which is kind of sad if you ask me. But anyway, let's continue. The $198.81 candy bar. I work as a manager at a small chain of C-stores, 30-ish locations. I'm putting away my main order of the week when a woman comes in asking for a nutrageous bar. I told her with a smile we had some right in front of the store as I pointed right to a blank spot on the shelf. Turns out we had sold out over the weekend and I had just broken this poor woman's heart and shattered her dreams with false hope. She had been searching relentlessly for weeks and could not find one anywhere. I apologized for the bad fortune and said I would order more straight away. The woman sighed, bowed her head and walked out of the store like a dejected puppy. I turned back to the order, opened the tub and right on top was a brand new box of nutrageous bars. I tear opened the box and vaulted over the counter like a badass cop sliding over a car hood, sprinting out the door like I had just clocked out. I caught up to her just as she starts to pull away from my store and from happiness, most likely on her way to jump off a bridge, hoping to find a nutrageous bar waiting for her in the next life. She turned and saw me lumbering towards her, holding the candy bar like a newborn child I had just delivered into this world. I had never seen someone so happy over a candy. She runs to me like she was a veteran returning home from duty and running towards their children for that first swirling embrace. I tell her to have it on the house and have a good day. Then, just now, I get a call from my district manager demanding to know if I was the one who gave away a candy bar to a customer for free. Shit, I think to myself, I do something nice for someone and this damn person calls my boss to tell on me. So I tell my boss, yeah, it was me. He tells me that she called and was so happy with our company she would be choosing us for the local volunteer firefighter appreciation gifts this year. $2,000 in gift cards, $25 each for the volunteers. My boss says he's giving me a 10% commission for the gift cards, minus the price of a nutrageous bar. And time again, being nice pays off, sometimes at least. The last story is a little bonus and it was posted by Stacy Rose in our subreddit r/ripe stories and it's titled "Racist Woman Wants Nice Black Lady to Serve Her When She Was Just Trying to Eat Her Own Food." As I said, this is just a bonus, it does not really fit Tales from Retail too much. Thought I was done seeing entitled rude people, but I guess not. This time I was a witness to what happened to this poor woman who was just trying to eat her food in peace. I went into a popular fast food place with those golden arches to order myself a quick bite to eat while waiting on a friend to pick me up to go shopping for the upcoming Halloween season. There was a nice looking black woman sitting at a booth eating a meal, just minding her own business, when I witnessed the most stupid thing ever. A lady who had to be about 50-ish walked in. She did not have that Karen hairdo at all, her hair was grey and curly, she was chubby and paler than the whitest rabbit you could find. She did not bother going up to the counter to order like normal people do, nor did she try to use the kiosk. Instead, she came in, looked around, saw the nice black woman and marched straight up to where she was sitting. I was at the front waiting for my own order. When she got to the poor woman's table, she stood there with her hands on her hips. The nice woman looked up at her and said, "Yes," while she took a big bite of her burger. The rude woman said,
"I need you to get up and take my order. Your break is over."
The nice woman looked at her and said, "I don't work here. Leave me alone so I can enjoy my meal in peace, please." Then the rude woman said,
"You're black, so I know you work here."
Me and the actual worker heard that and we were like, WTF? The nice woman said, "What does my skin color have to do with anything?" The rude woman then took the nice woman's tray and walked over to the garbage, throwing her food away, leaving the nice woman screaming, "Hey!" and getting up to go after her. The rude woman then smugly said,
Now get up and take my order.
The nice woman said, I was not finished eating. You had no right to throw that away. I paid for it. You owe me a new meal. I looked at the employee and said, you'd better get your manager out here before this blows up. And she went to the back to get the manager. I walked over to the rude woman and told her that I witnessed her harassing the poor woman, eating her food, and that she needs to learn how to respect others, to which the rude lady said,
I don't respect these people.
Both the nice woman and I were taken aback by this racist remark. I looked at the rude woman and said, you are a dumb racist, you know that, don't you? She stepped closer to me, to which I held my hand up and said, you touch me and you will regret it. I have no problem with having your ass arrested. The manager came up at this point to find out what was going on. I saw the manager and told her what I and her employee witnessed. The manager looked at the rude lady and said, before you say a thing, first, we do not tolerate racism here, and second, this lady does not work here. Now I'm gonna ask you to leave or I will call the police to have you removed by force. The rude lady looked at her and said,
Why? She was the lazy one eating on the job.
The manager repeated herself and said, I told you she does not work here. She's a customer that paid for her food that you took upon yourself to throw out. Now you are leaving my store or I will call the police. The rude lady told her,
You cannot make me leave. I'm a customer and the customer's always right.
When she said that, I started laughing out loud and she looked at me and said,
What's so funny?
And I said, the customer is almost always never right, especially with a mindset like yours. It's people like you that complain to get whatever they want for free, claiming the customer is always right. She stepped towards me again and I said, better back up, lady, I'm not in the mood to deal with stupid today. The manager told the rude lady one last time to leave, but she refused, so guess who had the police called on her? While the manager was waiting for the police to arrive, she gave the nice woman a new meal for free and my food had arrived, so I decided to sit next to the nice lady to keep the rude lady from trying anything with her. She thanked the manager and thanked me. We sat down eating and talking, completely ignoring the rude lady's remarks to us, just waiting for the police to arrive. The police showed up and the manager explained the situation to them, so they walked up to the rude lady, telling her she had to leave. The rude lady started yelling, telling them she was being treated with disrespect, and the police told her they already got what was going on by the manager and some customers that were witnesses, to which she screamed,
They are lying.
And the calm police officer said, what are they lying about? All I told you is that the manager wants you to leave this store and if you don't, you will be trespassed. I told you that I know what's going on because I already have statements, so please enlighten me, what are they lying about? The rude lady just stared at him, then he told her that she has to leave or he will be forced to arrest her, to which she spat at him, so he ended up arresting her for what I think is assault on an officer. The nice lady, myself, the manager and employee all watched as she was taken out of the store, kicking and screaming and saying things about how she will sue all of us. Then we burst out laughing when she was placed into the police cruiser. One thing I cannot stand is racism, and I don't like those people who seem to think the customer is always right, especially when they know what they are doing is wrong. After I finished eating, I came home and typed this up, so there you go. Once again, thanks for your story, and I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but a few days ago, a guy in Eastern Germany tried to shoot up a synagogue, so I think it's always super important to stand up against racists or people who make racist remarks to show them that that shit is not welcome anywhere. Either way, I hope you have a fantastic day and I see you again tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.